right, you guys, it's a new year. Here we go. I'm going to do a spread that I really enjoy. You don't have to do it at the new year. You could do it any old time to get a picture of what's happening in every category of your life, but I call it the Wheel of the Year spread. I didn't make that up. That's what it's called. Before I shuffle, I am going to take a deep breath, settle in to what is, which is a little uncomfortable, but also glorious and beautiful. And here we go. Okay, here goes. So, love this one. So on the forefront of the collective consciousness / what we will be dealing with in the first month of the year is the Three of Swords, aka sorrow. This is Saturn in Libra. So this is often associated with heartbreak and the end of relationships, but it's not just about that. It can also be about our spirit kind of being broken or hurt in some way. So if you look at the imagery of this card, these three swords are piercing the center of a lotus. And lotus flowers represent spirituality, purity, like an innocent heart. So, when we go through experiences that our mind interprets as us being harmed or victimized or wronged in some way, it can result in us trying to strategize or use our thoughts in manners of the heart. It's a defense mechanism, it's a survival strategy, but you're using the wrong tool. It's like trying to eat soup with a fork. You can think about your emotions all day long, but you have to feel them. So what we are looking at for the first month of the year is maybe turning inwards and metabolizing the kind of yuckier stuff that we have jumped into our heads about and are trying to strategize around. So this is a good process. Saturn in Libra, it allows you to see the truth for what it is. It's like something piercing through, like you didn't want to see it, but now you can't deny it, That's a good place to be because you're not wasting your time anymore, So, sorry, but everybody goes through it. I'm not trying to be flippant, but I'm trying to empower you. Okay, second month of the year. So this is the Aries house. Next we have the Taurus house. Okay, this is the Hermit year, and who do we have but the Hermit? So the Hermit, he has this cosmic sperm meeting this egg that is wrapped around by this cosmic serpent, and there is a Cerberus barking, or rather leaping up in the rays of his lantern. And what this represents is going into oneself and kind of isolating, like going to the underworld of your subconscious, in order to find insight and figure out why are you doing things. Not what are you doing, but why are you doing it. This is a very quiet energy. This is reflective, restorative. So journaling, taking walks in nature, taking a super long bath, like having a do not disturb announcement for 4 days in a row. These are all very hermity activities. So February, I recommend, caving in, cozying out, getting to the bottom of your subconscious as much as we ever can. Now we are into March, and this is the Pisces house. So in the month of March, we have ruin. So this is the 10 of Swords, or the Sun in Gemini. I'm seeing a trajectory, but so the 3 of Swords is when we are... It's one of the bardos, or the difficult cards that we have to learn through in the tarot. This is the first bardo, and the 10 is sort of the completion of the mental bardos. And this is when you have sort of run yourself ragged with trying to think through things that are physical and emotional. So these 10 swords that are sharded are piercing a coin purse as well as a heart. And that speaks to when we overthink things, things kind of tend to come to ruin. This is not a bad thing. This is needing to find balance in how much mental energy we are applying to our problems. We can't solve everything by trying to anticipate it or think it out. In fact, it can exhaust your physical body. So I'm imagining that March, we are going to be encountering some sort of thing that is very taxing to the nervous system. And this is a time when you're really going to want to be healthy. So getting plenty of sleep, eating plenty of nourishing food, not processed food, being in nature, drinking water. Whenever we have like super effed up head sword energy, you want to mitigate it with the body and the heart, kind of the opposite energies. So March, we got it. Next we have April, and we have the moon. So the moon, this is a card about projection inherently and confusion. When we are not in touch with our own will, but trying to reflect the will of other people, we can often feel very disconnected from reality because we're not orienting ourselves in our own needs. So the moon at its best is romantic and receptive and exploring the unknown. At its worst is delusional and unboundaried and confused. So I'm not trying to get political, but here I go. Yes, I am. This new administration, I'm sure like the longer things kind of like settle in, the more we're going to see shit that is like, really upsetting. And the moon represents also the womb and women. So I'm going to pull one more card for this just because I'm curious for some. Okay, prudence. Actually, I like this. So this can be a galvanization of women's rights, and I like that. This is what the prudence card looks like, and this is things coming to fruition at the right time. Now we're in May, the month of May, so we have completion. This is Venus in Aries. So in May, the earth starts to quicken. Spring is sprung. And we often have a very cardinal energy. The Venus in Aries is like, hey, let's go. But in order to do that, we have to make sure that we have finished whatever it is that we started. So Venus and Aries are very kind of sexual. So I'm thinking creativity and relationships. So make sure that you're not muddying the waters. Make sure you've closed a door before you open another one. So it's not all the time that we have to finish our projects, but the energy of this month in particular is beckoning you to just close the door before you open the other one. We often, when Venus is in Aries, we can prematurely rush into a new direction. So pause, reflect, make sure that it is a virtuous trajectory. So here we have the Princess of Swords. So she's called the Mood Fighter. So the Princess of Swords has a kind of, I don't want to say dicey, but conflicted energy. It's both positive and negative. So this card is associated with restlessness, provocation, and sort of aggression that comes out as nervousness, almost like when animals get bored or overwhelmed and then like aggress or whatever. So I would make sure that you're not picking fights. Also, on the other end of that spectrum, that's kind of her dicey energy, you might be wrapping up old conflicts. This might be a really good time for you to revisit sort of an altercation or a disagreement that you had with somebody and be like, yo, I kind of jumped to conclusions. I'm sorry. Yeah, so the energy is ripe for that. All right, in July, here we go. We have the Art card. So this is often called Temperance in other decks, and this is associated with blending disparate things. A good example would be compassion and anger. Like you think of those as kind of two separate things, but when you combine them, that's social justice, baby. Or let's say grief and happiness. That's gratitude for like having had something, like a song that you hear that makes you feel complex emotions, or a painting that really evokes like multiple parts of yourself. That is what it's all about. That's where the spirit meets material. The art card is also associated with two disparate forces finding harmony in them being different and coexisting. Maybe that's the result of this little disagreement that you wrapped up in July or in June. August, the Lovers. Okay, so oftentimes the Lovers is associated literally with like lovers, but really what this card is about is being in union with what is. If we are looking to complete ourselves through the image of another, we are invariably going to be not embodying the energy of the Lovers. So if you've ever been in a relationship with somebody and you really like not just want it to work out, but need it to work out, have you noticed how that relationship does not tend to last? I'm sorry. That's what the Lovers is about, because this is a trope, but it's a trope for a reason. You cannot love another person if you cannot truly love yourself. And it's just true, because what is required in a loving relationship is the ability to honor your own needs and stand behind them, as well as honor another person's needs and support them. So oftentimes what happens is we either honor another person's needs or we honor our own, but we have a hard time doing both, which is the whole Temperance card. What this could look like is us honoring that other people have entire selves. They have dreams that we don't know about because they don't even fully know about them. They have attractions. That doesn't mean they don't love us. They have flaws that we don't like. But when we are able to love ourselves enough and be like, hey, I really suck at that, but I'm still lovable, we're gonna have way more space to hold that for another person. So the Lovers, if you find yourself projecting a need onto another person in this month, August, you're gonna want to redact that and look at how you can meet that need yourself, because you can. And a good hint about what need you're trying to meet is, what are you imagining other people can do for you? Next, we have September. The Star. I love this card, Avi. The Star is about being brave in our authenticity and loving ourselves so much that we're willing and able to take the gifts that we have been given, whether we accept them or not, except we're accepting them because of the Star, and sharing them with other people. So she's gathering this stuff from the heavens and pouring it back onto earth, and she has one foot in the water and one on the ground. And this represents knowing what our limitations are, knowing what we've been born into, but also knowing our capacity for greatness and knowing our potential. And it is about forgiving ourselves for having made mistakes, and that allows us to forgive other people. This is a card that is often associated with being like stripped bare. It's right after the Tower, so it's a reckoning with the self in a way that is really loving. Okay, next we have October, and we have the Princess of Wands. So this bitch is sacrificing fear. That's what this tiger represents, that is like kind of knocked out and being dragged by her body, rushing up into these flames. And she's wearing this crown of the sigil of Aries, and on this little pyre back here is her husk of a body burning in a flame. So essentially, this is sacrificing a part of yourself that is holding you back and being like, in order to be me, I cannot believe that about myself anymore because it is not true, or it was a projection in the first place. Okay, November. We've got Virtue and more Aries energy. This is the Sun in Aries, and this is like, okay, I know what I mentally need, I know what I emotionally need, and I know what I physically need, and my decisions are going to be in alignment with that. The Three of Wands is when we honor what is in a way that allows us to see opportunity. And it is when we are in alignment with our energy in a way that allows us to be respected and seen and utilized or useful in our capacity. Anyways, I'm sorry. So December, the sun. So next Christmas season, I have a good feeling about it. Connecting with family, being back in that's not always great for people. Connecting with family sometimes sucks, but the sun, it doesn't have to be your family of blood, but it can be your chosen family. But December looks like feeling like a part of a group, and like you could be yourself and everybody could be themselves, and it's just good. So I hope that's true. So yeah, that's my year ahead spread. We start with heartache, we end with joy. Here's hoping.